7 things not to do now that Donald Trump is president. A great many of us fear the Donald Trump presidency, and for good reason. But this moment in our history also offers us a unique clarity. No longer can we fantasize about Democrats protecting us from the worst that Republicans do, not merely because, well, they've never been very good at that, but also because they can't now. Only we can protect ourselves from the worst they'll do. And the sooner we understand that, and practice that, and live that, the better. Hence, I offer 7 things not to do during a Donald Trump presidency. Number 1, do not bother with media horse race coverage. The media would rather be first than right about a story. They bury stories that might offend their advertisers, and they habitually choose sensationalism over substance. But worst of all, they treat everything like it's a big sporting event, and they treat you like a spectator. So if the media obsess about something, like Russian hacking, Mr. Trump's twittering, or Republican infighting, assume they're obsessing about it because they want to keep you watching instead of doing something. I mean, if they obsessed over vote suppression or gutting clean air and clean water regulations, you'd do something about it. But our media don't want a nation of doers. Not just because a nation of doers would watch fewer ads, but a nation of doers would force the media to work harder, which would put them at odds with advertisers and cost executives money. The good news about all that? They need our acquiescence to function that way, and we don't need to give it to them. Number 2, do not accept the narrow choices our glorious elites offer in policy debates. Whenever they talk about government deficits, the only choice they offer is spending cuts. About Social Security, benefit cuts. And about Medicare, privatization. But we know better. We can, for example, cut deficits by closing corporate tax loopholes and bringing back the 91% tax bracket on millionaire income. And we can improve Social Security by lifting the cap on payroll taxes so that income over $127,200 can be taxed into the system. And we can improve Medicare by letting it negotiate its own drug prices and hiring more investigators to stamp out fraud. There are always good alternatives to the moronic ideas our glorious elites peddle. After all, isn't America the can-do country that always finds a way? Number 3, do not support Democrats, because it's not your job as a citizen to support a politician. It's the politician's job to support you. They're supposed to do our will regardless of what party they belong to or what ideology they profess to hold, so don't fixate on electing more politicians who might listen to us. Call the ones we've got and email them and demonstrate in front of their offices and ask them pointed questions at public events until they have no choice but to listen to us. Now, Democrats will ask you to soft pedal your demands. They'll say your demands don't help them appeal to the center or something. Ignore them when they do. At the beginning of 2010, Democrats held the presidency, a 70-seat majority in the House, and a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate, and still they lectured us about the art of the possible, instead of widening the palette of the possible, as Republicans always do, regardless of their numbers in Congress. So remember, your will is your will. Your duty to communicate it to your representatives is inviolate, and any Democrat who insinuates otherwise deserves defeat. Number 4, do not give Donald Trump a chance. Of course, we all want him to do well, despite the multitudinous indications that he won't. But again, giving him a chance is beside the point of our democracy. We don't give the president a chance to do the right thing. We make our president do the right thing by expressing our will and demanding that our president execute that will. So people who tell you to give Donald Trump a chance or accept the results or get over it really just want you to shut up, because they know if you express your will, you'll make good things happen in America. Besides, giving Donald Trump a chance is a pretty big ask, really. I mean, you wouldn't look at a mound of dung in the middle of the sidewalk and give it a chance to magically transform itself into meatloaf, would you? Number 5, when terrorists inflict a 9/11-sized or larger attack upon us, and we just know they will, though we don't know where or when, do not pull for Trump the way we all pulled for Mr. Bush after 9/11. In fact, your solemn and immediate duty as an American citizen after such an attack is to criticize Mr. Trump for failing to keep America safe. And when I say immediate, I mean the minute of. This is a man who skips intelligence briefings, purges the State Department, runs to Florida nearly every weekend to golf, fails to staff a functioning government, and struts around like he knows everything. I ask you, why would such a man deserve a mulligan? And when that attack comes, don't flinch when our glorious elites say, "How dare you attack the president at a time like this?" Criticizing our president at any time is one of our inviolable rights as Americans. America is greater than any one president, and criticizing a president does not injure our country, and anyone who thinks it does is a weakling. Make sure you tell everybody that, and make sure you use the word weakling. Our glorious elites love calling us weaklings, so they deserve some of their own. Number 6. Do not take slurs on your character lying down. When people say, "You hate America," or "You're a traitor," or "You're with the terrorists," or "You want Donald Trump to fail," don't just take it. And don't be afraid to shame people who attack you like that. Too many liberals think shaming is something only conservatives do, but it's not. Shaming is something civilized people do to anyone who injures their community. And when they attack you, remember this. Our glorious elites are morally and intellectually bankrupt. Their program of austerity for the people but gluttony for themselves has led to disaster all over the world, so they can't win arguments on the merits. All they can do is lie about our patriotism, our strength, our intelligence, our commitment, and our character. Give them hell when they do, because hell is what they deserve. Number 7. Do not allow our glorious elites to sow doubt inside you. You are right and they are wrong. It's that simple. If you want our government to provide the good services we paid for with our taxes and then leave us alone, you are right. And the people who want to cut your services and funnel your hard-earned taxpayer money to their corporate cronies and spy on your every move are wrong. And if you have learned, either from emotionally manipulative people or from postmodern literary theorists, that there really is no such thing as good and evil, unlearn it now. Our glorious elites are evil, and they know that we know that. So they're going to try to take everything from us. Our right to dissent, our right to privacy, our right to clean air and clean water, our right to an economy that works for all of us, our right to protection from financial predators, our right to not have the crap kicked out of us by police, and our right to a safe and secure old age. Taking away these things is evil, and the people who would take them away are evil. So the time for navel gazing is past. The time for civilized action is now. For most of us, have now twice experienced 8-year Democratic administrations that consistently failed us. A far-right Republican administration, one that ran roughshod over our rights and listened only to its super-rich cronies, followed the first one. And by all indications, a worse far-right Republican administration has followed the second. This could mean 32 years of America vacillating between weak Democrats and malicious Republicans. And we have got to break that wheel. But we're not going to break that wheel by trying to elect more Democrats and hoping for the best. We will only break that wheel by saying no to our glorious elites' attempts to make us spectators in our democracy, in our country, and by speaking out so powerfully that politicians from both parties will have no choice but to follow us. So when your friends and relatives and neighbors ask you, "What do you think is going to happen under Donald Trump?" you should give one answer and one answer only. Whatever we make happen. Because that is the stone-cold truth. Either we, the American people, stop our glorious elites from destroying the country we love, or no one does.